Not today, not today, not today, not today, not today. Okay, it's working. All right. So let's go back and start over. Welcome everyone at Epic. Welcome. We are in business now. So now, questions for you before we even start. Drop it in the chat. Have you ever watched someone being treated unfairly? Did you speak up or did you stay quiet? Did anyone ever stand up for you? That is the question that we're going to talk about today. This episode, it's going to be about integrity. This is about leadership. This is about being the kind of person that people feel safe about. So let's get it started. You guys can blame on here one day. All right. So welcome. If this is your first time here, drop it in the comments in the chat and say, I am up in here. Let me turn this music off. Say, I'm up in here. I'm up in here. If you've had the opportunity to enjoy a MoJo show, drop it in the chat. What's up, fam? Because around here, I consider you a part of the MoJo family. So let's see who's in the room. Let's see who's in the room. I see. Oh, I see. Okay, Real Fam is coming through. Real Fam, thank you for coming in. Sandra, as usual, thank you for coming in. I am so glad that you guys are here. You always show up and support, and I am very thankful for it. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here. So I've just been experiencing and watching, when you're on social media, you watch things, you see things happen, and you sit back and you ponder on it, like, why is this happening? And why are people allowing it to happen? So this is why I am doing this show today. Why standing up matters. Why does standing up matter? Well, one, because silence normalizes wrong behavior. When nobody speaks, bullying grows, injustice grows, disrespect grows, and then the silence just communicates approval. So if you say like, "Oh, I don't say anything," but you laugh. If you laugh at the joke, you have just co-signed on it. You're just as guilty as the person who told the joke. So it is very important to make sure that you're standing up. Like I said, one, because silence normalizes the wrong. Two, it builds the character. When I say that is people with backbone, they sleep better at night. They earn trust. They build strong communities. When you're not standing up for what's right in a community, the community eventually falls apart. So you can't be a CEO of anything if you don't stand for something. So why not stand for what's right? Good. I'm glad you came here. Welcome in. The real big juicy is in the house. Welcome in. Thank you for coming. Thank you. So we're talking about standing up for what's right and why it's important. So I gave one. Um, hey, why silence normalizes the wrong behavior. Two, um, standing up builds character. And three, it creates a psychological safety. When someone sees you stand up, they feel protected, they feel valued, and they even feel seen. And that builds loyalty. That builds loyalty in your friendships. That builds loyalty in your families. That builds loyalty in your teams. And that builds loyalty in your communities. So why Why am I talking about this? Because we are on these platforms and we're trying to build teams. We're trying to build communities. We're trying to build friendships. So we need to make sure that we stay awoke and that we make sure that as we are building, that we're standing up for what's right in these communities that we're building. So let me ask you all something. Why is it hard to stand up? Why is it hard to speak up? Let's be real. People don't speak up because maybe they fear rejection. Maybe they fear conflict. Maybe, just maybe, I didn't, okay, all right. Maybe they fear being the next target. Or maybe they just want to stay neutral. I know a lot of people may feel like they are the target. And you know what? Epic, I don't have my glasses on. So I cannot see. So I'm gonna pop these on real quick and see what you guys are saying. Welcome in, pretty mama. Both the offended and the watching should speak up. Exactly, exactly. So let me ask you, neutral being neutral usually protects the powerful, right? So what does that mean? Silence often ends up benefiting the person or the group that already has the power, not the one being harmed. So when you refuse to take a side in the face of wrongdoing, you are indirectly supporting the status quo. But also, standing up does not mean being reckless. It does not mean it does not mean being aggressive. Excuse me. Does not mean being aggressive. It does not mean attacking people. It simply means being calm, being firm, and being principled. Accepting, why is it important to accept when you're wrong? You cannot demand justice and refuse accountability. So why is it so important to accept to admit wrong? Well, one, growth requires humility. If you can't say I was wrong, you cannot evolve. It builds credibility. People trust leaders who can own up to their mistakes. If you can't own up to your mistake, then people tend to not look up to you. In fact, they tend to look away from you. So this is why you want to um, learn how to own up to to your mistakes. Also, saying being apologetic, saying sorry, owning up to your mistakes, it stops the damage early. The longer pride says, the longer pride stays, the deeper the wounds grow. And when the wounds get deeper, they get harder to heal. Okay. So, when was the last time? I have a question for you all. When was the last time you apologized without defending yourself? Drop it in the chat. When was the last time you apologized without defending yourself? Was it recently? Was it years ago? Was it so long ago you can't even remember? When was the last time, if you think about it, that you actually just apologized and didn't feel the need to defend yourself? Drop it in the chat. Let me see. I see something in the chat. If you do speak up, that means sometimes you agree with the stuff going on. If you do speak up, you means you agree, you feel that that a person agrees. Real big juicy. How about you over here on Epic? When was the last time you've apologized without feeling the need to defend yourself? Okay, you said you meant you don't. Okay, yes, I agree. So let me just share it. Well, let me also ask you this question actually. Do you ever over explain yourself instead of owning up? Because, mm, okay, you said yes. All right, all right. Okay. Let me tell you, because these three helps you to mature in a leadership role. If you can stop the damage early, if you can be credible, and if you can um, if you if you can grow in your humility, excuse me. So let me let me explain why apologies matter. A real apology acknowledges the harm that was done. And of course, this is if if you are sincerely wanting the relationship or wanting the connection to remain. A real apology takes responsibility. It does not blame shift. It doesn't say, well, if you felt hurt, no, because you know when a person felt hurt. So you don't have to say, if you felt hurt, I'm sorry. That is just a um, that is a put on apology, not even real. Because apparently you know the person felt hurt. So you don't have to add, if you felt hurt, I apologize. Also, a real apology shows a change in behavior. So if you apologize and the behavior stays the same, you know that it's not a sincere apology. Let me explain to you why it's important and to not have a bad apology. I'm sorry you feel that way. That's a bad apology. But I was wrong. I hurt you. I take responsibility. That's a good apology. That's owning that you did something that affected another person and you apologize for it. Apologies restore dignity, they build trust, and possibly they reset the relationship. And that's what you want. You want to reset. If you're sincerely apologetic, you want to reset the relationship and hopefully start afresh. A lot of times I always say that I can forgive, but sometimes it's hard to forget. So it's not so easy to start afresh. But we can give it a try. So um, learning how to be sincere in your apologies also it it shows that you're growing in your emotional intelligence, that you are becoming emotionally aware of yourself and other people. If you um ha- all of us have had challenges in the family. When have you and your family is your family. They're not going anywhere. I've been actually hearing people talk about how they will cut off their own family. And I get it. I understand that sometimes you have to, but sometimes an apology can take you a long way in your family relation, in your friendship relationships, in the workplace, or even just, in leadership roles. I don't know about y'all, but I actually have a boss who has never said sorry. I mean, that's it. Over here on Epic, I need y'all to be tapping on that screen. Tap that screen. Tap that screen. And you too. TikTok. All right. How to stand up the right way. So there's a method called CALM. 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 First, you want to clarify. Ask what ask what's happening before um reacting. Ask what's happening before reacting. Two, address. Speak clearly. Just say that doesn't sit right with me. Speak clearly, address. L, lead. Lead with respect. Firm tone, not emotional chaos. I know myself. I can get emotionally charged sometimes. So I have to wheel it back in and practice calm. Then M, move forward. Don't escalate, de escalate, and teach boundaries. And I just want to say, standing up doesn't mean um, arguing online. because this is when I thought of this topic, a lot of my experience, my thoughts, the information that I was using for this live came from being a part of online platforms. And I've seen people actually argue online. And that is such a turn off, especially if you're in a leadership role in your online community, it is not a good look for you to argue online. Um, Also, don't shame publicly. Well, actually, you shouldn't shame at all, but especially not in an online community. It just doesn't look good. And remember, everything you do online follows you forever. You may delete it and make it deleted, but it's always going to be out there. And we never know what opportunities may open for us one day. Maybe one day we have the opportunity to run for a Senate seat, or maybe we have the opportunity to run for president. Who knows? And trust me, they will dig up any and everything that you have that is attached to you. And trust me, those online videos that you thought that you deleted will come back and bite you. And it will expose you to how you behaved online. And if you shame someone publicly, it will come back. Trust me. Um, and standing up doesn't mean destroying reputations. It doesn't mean, oh, thank you. That is so cute. It doesn't mean destroying reputations. It doesn't mean going in on someone and ripping them apart, especially like something they may stand for. But what it does mean is protecting truth, protecting dignity, and protecting fairness. So, so where are we? Have I convinced you that standing up is important, or are you not convinced yet? I just want to say, be the person you wish was in the room with you when you needed help. I'm gonna say it again. Be the person you wish was in the room when you needed help. So, if I don't know if any of you have ever had an experience in bullying, I know I have. If you've ever had experience in being talked down to in a public forum, I know I have. Or if were the one seeing someone being talked down to, or if you were the one watching someone bullying, be the person you was in the room when you needed help or when that person needed help. And if you're wrong, be brave enough to fix it. I told someone recently that it it does not hurt me. It does not take anything from me to simply just say, I apologize. I'm not sure why pride gets into the way of so many of us to be able to say, I messed up. I missed the mark. I apologize. We are not perfect people. And anyone who expects you to be is a hypocrite. B Biba K says, be the person you wish was in the room with you. Needed. Okay, she's saying she's clapping to that. Yes, exactly. Be the person. Be that person. It's very important because it's not enough of those people. It's just not enough. Don't, people tend to stay quiet. People tend to not want to speak up for all those reasons that I listed before. And it doesn't help you to grow. And then for me, like I said, you sleep better at night when you know that you did the right thing. So, um, and if you're wrong, be brave enough to fix it. Strength isn't loud, it's honest. So, have you ever stood up for someone? Drop it in the chat if you can ever say you were that person who stood up for someone. Drop it in the chat. Say it was me. I see you. Sneaky Bones, I see you. Drop it in the chat if you can say, yes, I've stood up for someone. And if you're not able to drop that in the chat today to say that you've stood up for someone, drop it in the chat if you are going to stand up in the next situation. If you find yourself in a situation like this, say, I'm going to be the one to stand up um, in the face of someone being treated badly or wrong. Let me see. Okay, I see you. Okay, I see you over there. I see. I stood up for someone several times. Okay. Yes, I am live on Epic as well. Yes, I am. Yes. Okay, I see you. I definitely stand up. Okay, Shirley, I see you. I see you standing up. You stood up for someone who was being done wrong. That is so important. It is so important because if which you and I think of it like this. If I stand around and allow that to happen in my presence to someone, I also have children. And if I don't stand up for someone, who's going to stand up for my kids? I really believe that it's very important to do so. It's very important. In the facts. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. So the next question I have you ever needed to apologize? And maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Drop a one in the chat if you have apologized. Drop a two is nope, there was a time that you should have apologized and you didn't. Drop a one if you have, drop a two if there was an opportunity for you to apologize and you completely missed it. Okay. Okay. All right. I see a one. I see a one. I see those ones. Okay. So Proverbs 31:8-9 says, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. And James 5:16 says, confess your faults one to another. It's very important. It's scriptural. I see you. I see one. Oh, I see you. You said one and two, huh? I get it. I get it. Sometimes every 30 minutes. Okay. Okay. So let's say every 30 minutes. I'm telling you, you know what? That is very intelligent of you. Emotionally intelligent of you to recognize that. Yes. I really appreciate you for being transparent because we all have that opportunity to offend someone. And I say opportunity because we're not perfect and we're going to offend, whether we intentionally or do it or not. So it's important for us to confess our faults one to another as soon as we recognize it. And sometimes don't crucify me. Don't crucify me. But sometimes we have to apologize even when we might not completely feel it's our fault. It just grows character within you. Now I'm not saying that okay, um you have this is not something that you always run into. You're not always well, I hope you're not always the one that's wrong in a situation. But it's really important sometimes to keep your peace. Let's just swallow our pride and say sorry. So drop a crown if you believe in standing up for what's right. Drop a crown in the chat if you believe standing up is what's right. Thank you for the heart me. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, everyone who has come in on TT. Thank you so much for joining in to the conversation. So drop a crown if you believe standing up for what's right. And maybe you haven't thought of some of the suggestions or some of the thoughts that I shared tonight. Just drop a crown. I'm seeing no crowns. Okay, okay. I see one over there. Okay, all right. I was getting worried now. I was getting worried that y'all didn't listen. I was gonna go all the way back to the beginning of my notes and start all over. No, I'm just kidding. Well, integrity is expensive, but it's worth every penny. That's what I'm going to leave y'all with today. Integrity is expensive, but it's worth every penny because it returns big. So if you enjoyed this show today, please drop it in the chat, share, like this live. Um, I didn't want to keep it too long, trying to keep my lives nice and 30 minutes. You know how we can get a long-winded. But I'm so happy that you came. Please push that bell button so that every time that I come on that you will be notified. Share, um, go and take a look at some of my other lives. My name is the Real Mojo, and my platform is parenting. And I also add a bit of affordable living, affordable fashions, affordable travel, and just affordable life on a single income in a single income household. I share how to shop and look great on a budget, how to make affordable meals, parenting tips, and travel. So join me every Thursday from 7:30 to 8, and sometimes it does go longer for some tips and tricks. Well, that is all I have for now. And until next time, keep it real, keep your mojo.